My name's James Eggleston. I'm CTO at AppScatter. We're a London-based startup. I'm here to talk to you about, hopefully, where am I pointing this? There we go. App stores and how to reach users outside of Google and Apple. So first I want to talk about the App Store landscape, some of the challenges involved in distributing to these alternative stores, and then how you monitor and manage them at scale. I'm also going to drop in a shameless plug of our business at the end. So you may or may not know this, but there's over 300 app stores in the world. There's lots in China, but there's also various other parts of the world that have them. Some are from device manufacturers, for example, Samsung. There's also lots of independent stores like Opera, for example, that's got a large user base. These stores are moving into TV, Opera, a TV store. There's auto stores, and we're also seeing chatbot stores appearing recently. When we look at the actual market, we know that Google and Apple dominate the US. As we move into the UK, it's dropping around to around 70%. When we get to China, it's below 30%. The Chinese market is very interesting. Google only have 4% of the market share of the Android downloads. My app, which is Tencent's app store, they have the dominant amount at 22%. Obviously, we all know about WeChat. WeChat was recently announced as having 846 million daily active users. App promotion is what we're here to talk about, and app promotion is difficult in Apple and Google. When you're trying to compete against 2 million other apps, there's a lot of work to be done. And that's why the alternative app stores can be very interesting. I'd like to start with a quick raise of hands, if that's okay, and I'd like to see how many people have actually got apps in the market at the moment. How many of you are on Google and Apple? What about on 2 other stores? And we're about 10. We've done a bit of research and we found that some of the bigger people in the industry, 40%, are already using the alternative stores. However, this is Instagram on Monday. On the right-hand side is the Google Play Store, and on the left-hand side is the Opera Store. And what we're seeing is that although people are using these stores, they're struggling to keep up with updating them. So what about the other 60% of us? There's less competition in these stores, as we've just seen, so it's important to use them. And they've got great promotional features. Some of them have got paid promotional features, which means you can be a banner ad on the store itself. They've got free promotional material, but it's time-consuming and very difficult to manage. There's also no directory of these stores, so although we've said there's over 300 of them, that's because we've painlessly spent loads of time researching all of these stores. One of the challenges with these stores is compatibility. We call compatibility an app's ability to get on the store without making code-level changes to your product. What we mean by this is some stores require certain SDKs to be used. What we don't want to be doing is going to our developers and asking them to change the code of your app just to support, say, the Samsung store. Once you've established your compatibility, the first thing you need to do is do the registration process. Sorry, skipping ahead of myself, the compatibility rules. So when there's so many stores in the ecosystem, they have very different rules that need to be followed. For example, some app stores only support free apps. Some only support paid apps. There's also in-app billing restrictions. Some don't support Google Wallet. Some require that you use the Samsung billing module. There's device restrictions. Some are only for smartphones. And there's also category restrictions. Some stores are just for children. Some don't support gaming apps, for example. Once you've established your compatibility, which is quite a complex process, you then need to register. And you're doing this without really understanding where you're going to go from here. There's a different registration process for every store. They all require different data. Some of them are paid, and some have different verification processes, such as providing proof of your business address. When you get through that process, you have to do the submission, and the submission is even more complicated. Very few of the stores support the same character count, for example, on your title. Same for descriptions, same for keywords. And all of the keywords have different rankings and different abilities to get your AMP performing better within the stores. Images is also very different. For example, some stores can only have a maximum of 2 images. Some stores have a maximum size limit. Some of them have a minimum size limit. The same as with the app itself. If you're distributing to certain stores, if you've got a binary size limit or the app size itself of, say, 25 megabytes, you can't distribute to that store. The challenge with doing all of that is that once you've done it for one of your apps in your portfolio, you then need to do it for every app. And that takes a lot of time. Once you've done that, you then need to go and get your sales data. You want to know how these stores are performing for you, and you want to know if they're any good. The sales reporting across all of these stores is very different. Some of the stores only have finite sales reports, as in they only appear for one day. If you're using a discovery service, for example, just because someone has clicked through on that store, you don't necessarily know that they've gone through to complete the download. Download is also very interesting. Download data on certain stores don't exist after day one. So, for example, they will give you a cumulative count which says you've downloaded 300 in the last week, but you don't know which day they came from. So if you're doing any marketing around this store, you don't know where it's come from. Much like Google and Apple, there's ratings and reviews across many stores. What you have to be able to do then is see whether these ratings and reviews are working. And again, there's page views. So you also need to understand whether your page views and impressions is turning into a good use of your app. And this is where I hope that we can come in.
This is an app. You may have built it, you may own it, but either way it needs distribution and ongoing management. You'll probably be launching it on these app stores. But what about all the others? There are hundreds, yes, hundreds of app stores worldwide. Did you know that in China, for instance, Google has less than 4% of the download market? This is where AppScatter comes in. Our simple registration process gives your app access to the top 50 app stores worldwide, whether it's an existing app or a brand new one. Once an app is registered, AppScatter checks for compatibility with all app stores, scans for malware, and localizes your metadata. After that, it's up to you. You can choose to launch your app by country or by app store. Once you've decided where your app is going, it could be simpler. One click is all it takes to launch it everywhere at once. As for updates, easy. Upload once and hit go. You've updated. Now your app's out in the big wide world. What happens? You'll want to know how it's doing, right? AppScatter has a powerful management tool that gathers all of your sales and download data from every store and every country that's relevant. But you may also want to know what your competition is up to. We give you the power to search and track your competitors' apps and watch their performance. If your organization has more than one app in the market, our brand management tool will save you both time and effort, making checking for brand consistency across your entire app portfolio easy. That's not all. AppScatter can also show you all the apps in the market linked to your brand name, so checking for IP and copyright infringement is simple. And with powerful market intelligence tools, drawing on our extensive App Store databank to give you the most up-to-date analysis on the entire app market, everything you need to know is at the tip of your fingers. Distribution, performance, tracking, and intelligence, all in one handy, customizable dashboard. The most comprehensive mobile strategy platform in the world. So, if you have an app or apps are your business, you need AppScatter, the mobile strategy platform. Register now.
So thank you. That was a brief introduction to the App Store market and a bit about AppScatter. We've got a stand out here, so I'd be really interested to talk to some of you a bit more. And my contact details are there as well, so it'd be great if anyone wants to get in touch. Thank you.